In other news, a nation is still in mourning. 7 black balloons sail slowly into the clouds. Children from Concord, New Hampshire sing of America the Beautiful. A teacher's parents hold each other in grief. Ribbons adorn the winter trees. Flowers sent to NASA in Houston. Expressions of a nation which continues to mourn. The explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger is still very much in the news tonight. Americans still trying to sort out their emotions. All this while the experts try to find out why. We begin our series of special reports in Houston with my colleague Clarice Tinsley. Clarice?
Thank you, Steve. Tonight, the Johnson Space Center is undergoing a massive physical transformation in preparation of the visit tomorrow of President and Mrs. Reagan. While here, the President will offer comfort and condolences to the surviving family members of the Challenger crew. He will honor the 7 dead astronauts, and the President will talk to the nation about America's future in space. Earlier today, memorial services were held to honor the astronauts. Tonight, the big news out of Florida is that thousands of pounds of shuttle debris have been recovered from the Atlantic Ocean. The Coast Guard cutter Dallas recovered a portion of the fuselage. Steve Dawson reports from the Kennedy Space Center.
The Coast Guard says debris from the Challenger is drifting slowly to the north. The search area has been expanded to 8,000 miles. There are 13 ships involved in the search and 13 airplanes. The Coast Guard says it has picked up thousands of pounds of debris.
The items we're finding are also larger than what were found yesterday. So we're finding items of the size of 15 feet, 12 feet, one 30-foot long item. We're also finding items with electrical wiring, gauges, different kinds of pieces that are not structural but mechanical or electrical. We have also recovered one cone-shaped device, 10 feet diameter, with a parachute attached to it.
In addition to this, salvage workers have spotted what could be part of the Challenger's fuselage. And there are reports of a bone fragment found on the beach 25 miles south of the Space Center, now being examined at the Patrick Air Force Base Hospital.
The search procedure is extremely complex. Much like an archaeological dig, a command post at Miami divides the 8,000 square miles into a grid. And at sea, the ship Dallas is in charge of the logistics. Each boat and each plane is assigned to a square in the grid because they say it's important to note where debris is found and what it's found lying next to.
The public tours closed yesterday were open today, and hundreds of tourists rode around the Space Center on double-decker buses. And while they are all saddened by the death of the Challenger crew, no member of this Virginia family thinks the shuttle program should be cut back.
In fact, I wouldn't mind still going. I wouldn't be afraid to go up in the next one.
So the tourist business is beginning to look normal again at the Space Center in spite of Tuesday's disaster. Steve Dawson, Channel 4 News at the Kennedy Space Center.
In Concord, New Hampshire, high school students returned to classes today at the hometown high school of Krista McAuliffe. Richard Ray reports that this day brought a lesson in grief and acceptance for many of those students.
It was a short day at Concord High School, just 4 hours, and again a psychologist was on hand to offer students counseling. Principal Charles Foley said it will be some time before school life returns to normal.
Right now, no, I can't envision that. It will come. It'll happen. I know it will. But I just can't see it right now.
It's been a year of turmoil at Concord High School, beginning with the welcome attention that came when Krista McAuliffe was chosen for the space program. But then in December, there was a hostage siege here in which a young school dropout was killed. And now this.
We are not here to ask you to go home. You wouldn't anyway.
Superintendent Mark Bove made a point of denying rumors that reporters and photographers had been asked to leave town. In fact, the attention focused on the school has resulted in flowers and telegrams from around the world. And for the school, Bove expressed gratitude to the people who cared enough to send them. Richard Ray, Channel 4 News, Concord, New Hampshire.
Tonight, the Johnson Space Center is in the middle of a massive security sweep. Crews will work late into the morning to make sure that everything is ready for the President's arrival. The National Memorial Service will be closed to the public, but it will be viewed by a nationwide television audience, and you can even listen to the service on pay telephone. Tonight, Ken Capps kept an eye on NASA as it gets ready for the president's visit, despite dense fog and drizzle.
The service. I got some White House staff folks I need to badge, and there should be White House communications badges already made up.
On a day when finally some of the initial shock began to wear off, NASA employees were called on for a last-minute grim job. Get ready to greet the president so the nation can pay its last respects to 7 of its fallen heroes.
600,000 watts.
In about 12 hours, these workers must have the gear in place for 11,000 to see and hear the memorial in person, for millions to watch on TV. Trees have to be moved, platforms are being built. It would be a tremendous technical feat if it weren't NASA doing it. An organization that's miracles in space have become almost as routine as washing windows. Greg Warfield is glad to see the president is coming. His eyes water to talk about it.
Show support for the families and show everybody they care. Really. If it was me, I would come.
A congressional delegation, families of the astronauts, NASA employees. They will be the only ones allowed inside the Johnson Space Center tomorrow, and that's still 11,000 people. The Secret Service moved in all day to begin preparation. NASA will close to the public, although it will be a very public service. Not one of the visitors here today seemed to mind.
I think that the security is probably most important. I mean, I think that's the critical factor.
Tonight, the work continues. Before a pause to remember, more than 900 phones are being installed to get the message out, and NASA says that still might not be enough. It will be a national service of mourning, showing Houston's grief to the country and the world. Tonight, there is a dull numbness here, but there is also a growing anticipation. The Challenger accident, something this place has coped with now for 3 days. The service, something that will make that coping easier after almost a week of pain. Ken Capps, Channel 4 News at the Johnson Space Center.
And tomorrow, Ken and I will be in place to continue Channel 4 News coverage of the Challenger tragedy. Our coverage of the president's visit begins at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll have further reports at 5, 6, and 10 tomorrow night from the Johnson Space Center. Steve, back to you.
Clarice, thank you. Here in the Metroplex, people may be looking for ways to express their sorrow over the Challenger catastrophe. Several local radio stations have begun the Challenger blood drive. As you may know, most of our blood banks are experiencing shortages. They hope an appeal in the name of the Challenger astronauts might be a very good way to honor their passing with a gift of life.
And still to come on the 10 o'clock report, the DISD is looking for a few good teachers without college degrees.
And Sue Keenan has a special report on the after-Christmas credit card crunch. That's next.
It's a simple fact. No one can hold a match to Champion Ford.
Champion Ford, now the #1 volume Ford dealer in Texas. Why?
Because Champion Ford buyers save with 4.9 financing, the real thing for lower monthly payments.
And price. Champion Ford 1986 Escort, only $59.88.
86 Ford F-150 pickup, $74.88. #1 in Texas with savings and 4.9.
Champion Ford, Meadow at North Central, open daily and Sunday 9 till 9.
At used car buyers, $99 delivers at the Champion in Dallas.
Hurry into Sanger Harris for the lowest prices of the season on clearance fashion for men, women, and children. We're ringing up bargains galore. For instance, Mrs. Career and daytime dresses were $48 to $84, now $29.99. Assorted junior fall and winter sweaters were $19.99 to $30, now $12.99. Plus a selection of men's sweaters were $30 to $38.50, now $14.99. And that's just the beginning. Get the lowest prices of the season on clearance fashions at Sanger Harris. It's a sale.
Hi, I'm Mr. Telephone. Picture this. You're a corporate mogul. A toll-free number appears on your screen. You call it and start using LDS for long distance at your company. You save more than you would with AT&T, MCI, or Sprint. You take the savings that LDS gives you, invest them wisely, and pretty soon you are so rich it is downright shameful. It could be you.
The tough new grading policies in the state are resulting in more failing grades for DISD high school students. A report card released today shows more than 58% of Dallas high school students failed at least one course last semester. That compares to just over 56% a year ago. In 4 of the high schools, more than 70% of students had a failing grade. And the problem isn't just in high school. More than half of all Dallas middle school students also failed at least one class.
You can pay now or you can pay later, but you have to pay. That's the sad reality for many of us who charged our Christmas purchases. As Channel 4's Sue Keenan tells us, this is the month when jingle bells are replaced by jolting bills.
This was then the Christmas crowds, the Christmas cheer, the Christmas charge. And this is now a time to remember what you spent and where it went. Beware the postman bearing big bills.
I have to give them to him. I have enough bills of my own. I can't pay theirs, too.
The bills are the bad side of paying with plastic, but Americans are on a borrowing binge, and at Christmas, most of us were cheerfully saying charge it.
I spent a lot more than I realized. You don't have the hassle, you know, if you don't have money to pay for it.
As long as I need it, keep borrowing.
Borrowing has indeed become the American way of buying things, and the credit card is helping to continue a consumer trend of owing more and saving less. In fact, the average American family of four owes 2 weeks take-home pay on the revolving charge accounts alone. And while the government says we're earning more money, we're still spending more than we make, especially at Christmas.
Amount owed is not shown. Past due is zero.
The Chilton Credit Bureau charts the borrowing history of almost every resident in the Metroplex, and 96% of the files show people paying without problem.
Obviously, people spend more at Christmas time than they do at other times. Because it's a time for gift giving. But that doesn't mean that they over-obligate themselves.
Even so, business this January is booming at the several offices of Consumer Credit Counseling, a nonprofit agency aiding borrowers on the brink of bankruptcy.
If anybody's gotten in trouble after Christmas, they were in trouble prior to. Christmas may have just been the straw that breaks the camel's back.
The shredded credit cards here led to financial disaster for hundreds of families, all finding credit too easy to get and debt too hard to handle. The modern method of buy now, pay later can take its toll.
And then the starting coming year, $1,000, you're going, whoa, what did I spend it on?
The interest snowballs to the point where they need relief.
Terrible. We owe $20,000, and that could buy us $20,000 to buy us a lot.
Tomorrow, a look at the dark side of credit card debt. Sue Keenan, Channel 4 News, Dallas.
The count's up to 50 days now without rain, but James says we may not break that 52-year-old record.
Doesn't look that way, Suzanne. Luckily, we're looking at a system that could bring rain to North Texas by Sunday, and we'll have a look at that and more next.
When minor arthritis pain needs soothing, turn on the heat. There's no beating deep heating. When you're hurting and want relief, turn on the heat. There's no beating deep heating. Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. Soothing warmth that lasts for hours. Penetrating relief right where the ache begins. For arthritis pain, sore muscles, stiff back, turn on the heat. Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. There's no beating deep heating.
This Friday from 5 to 10 p.m., it's the start of CMC's legendary 5 to 10 and 10 to 5 store-wide sale. And we've slashed prices on over 1,200 items.
Car stereos, receivers, CD players, video recorders, and more.
Then Saturday morning at 10, CMC will continue the savings until 5 p.m. But that's not all. We'll add 5 bonus hours so you can save on Sunday, too. CMC's 5 to 10 and 10 to 5 store-wide sale. This Friday and Saturday. Oh, and Sunday.
Don't you go to that little room till I finish telling you about Lynn Smith Auto Sales. Why, heck, there are more cars there than you can throw a cow chip across, with down payments starting as low as $300. And old Lynn, he's a pussy cat. While he'll even trade in your bucket of both cash your payroll check and finance with your job as credit. And as he says, if you can't get a car from me, you just can't get it. Open 9 to 9. Now you can go to that little room.
Have you heard the latest on Channel 4 News at 5? This Friday, our auto expert takes a look at the Swedish-made Saab. See how it rates in the auto test. Then Tom Steyer is at it again with a look at the lighter side of life as he views people, places, and events on Steyer Street. And see why health officials are becoming interested in salad bars when Dr. Dina Dell explains what they've discovered. Join Suzanne Moss and Steve Dawson each weekday at 5. We're in touch with Texas.
will go down as the driest January on record in Dallas-Fort Worth, with only a trace of rain since the first of the year, and records go back to the 1800s. But it looks like February could very well start off wet. Here's the current satellite view. Skies still clear across much of Texas tonight, but looking further west, clouds are covering much of the western U.S. tonight, and that wet weather system is creeping eastward. And at this time, it looks like this system will have enough energy and moisture to give us a chance of rain by late Saturday night into Sunday and possibly even through Monday. It's too early to tell exactly what part of the state will stand the best chance of getting rain, but certainly it looks like a good chance for us at this point. Meanwhile, moisture is gradually creeping northward now from the Gulf, and it looks like by morning we'll have low stratus clouds, but those clouds tomorrow will likely burn off by mid-morning. Around the state at 10 o'clock tonight, mostly 50s and 60s up on the board, and probably temperatures will not fall much more tonight because of the increasing south winds and also the increasing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. It's 60 at Waco, 63 now at Austin, 56 degrees now at Abilene, and 49 back at Wichita Falls. We have 52 degrees at 10, the humidity 77%, the pressure steady, and winds out of the south at 9 miles an hour. Not a bad high today, 68. It was 32 this morning. No rain today, and pollen was up with a fair amount of mountain cedar, grass, and fungus. The national forecast for Friday, partly cloudy skies for much of the south, including most of Texas, although a few showers could pop up along the Texas Gulf Coast, but rainfall amounts there should be quite light. Meanwhile, rain is likely all up and down the Pacific coast as far south as San Diego, and that front should be affecting Texas by Saturday night. Now the forecast for tonight, mostly fair skies with patchy low clouds developing after midnight tonight. The overnight low really about where we are now, near 50. Then for tomorrow, we'll have those low morning clouds, then burning off with afternoon sunshine. South winds continuing, and a high up in the middle 70s, near 75 degrees. Saturday, the same kind of weather. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine with a high near 80. But Sunday and Monday, it looks like we'll break that dry streak with chances for showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures a little bit cooler, but really not too bad. The last day we had rain in Dallas-Fort Worth was on the 11th day of December. Suzanne?
Seems like much longer than just 2 months.
It's been a while.
I'm ready to break that record, though. Thank you, Ben.
Oh, the problems facing Congress. The armed forces, the budget, foreign aid, domestic programs, hundreds of other pressing matters, and now Representative Dick Armey of Texas. One of their own has become a source of embarrassment. Can you imagine what the country would think if it were discovered Armey was sleeping at the House gymnasium? Why, once it's told, a woman actually visited there. Well, the House won't have none of it. Dick Armey has to go back to the sofa in his office if he wants to sleep.
Well, the Dallas Independent School District is considering recruiting teachers who have not taken the traditional education courses that are required for accreditation. That proposal calls for recruiting people who have professional backgrounds, people who are, say, getting out of the military, or housewives who want to rejoin the workforce. But some teachers are questioning such a plan, saying that inferior teachers could end up in front of the classroom. Steve?
So Mata and Aguirre have kissed, well, let me say, have made up.
Oh, you want to say it. I'm going to say it in a minute, but the same that usually happens. We'll update you on the situation between Mark Aguirre and Dick Mata and tell you about some fun that some people can have in Euless this weekend. That and more next in sports. Hi, I'm Sean Moore, General Manager at Toyota Town, and here's 3 reasons why you should come to Toyota Town first when shopping for a new car. This is Toyota's standard bed pickup with prices starting at $59.98. Toyota long bed pickup starting at $64.98. Toyota Town's long bed deluxe automatic pickup starting at $69.28. Look us up. We won't let you down. Come to Toyota Town and save.
Smokers, this is New Favor. It's a smoke-free cigarette. That's right, a smoke-free cigarette. You don't light it. It doesn't burn. You just inhale and exhale. You get tobacco pleasure and satisfaction. But what you don't get is smoke. And neither do the people around you.
New Favor. Cigarette satisfaction. No smoke.
Better hurry, Meg, or we're going to miss our plane.
Must miss your flight to America, Margaret. Oh, I nearly forgot. Mother would have wanted you to have this.
Saying goodbye is never easy, but saying hello is. With AT&T, 10 minutes to the UK can average just 64 cents a minute. Only AT&T keeps you this close anywhere in the world.
Margaret!
AT&T International long-distance service.
Maverick head coach Dick Motta and Mark Aguirre met for well over an hour today, again to discuss their differences. Aguirre afterward admitting he had some hurt feelings over not making the All-Star team, saying he didn't mean for the comments he made about his coach to be as negative as they were. To coin a phrase, Motta and Aguirre have apparently kissed and made up. And maybe the Mavericks can think about playing Cleveland tomorrow. Cavaliers in San Antonio tonight where the Spurs pick their pockets. This is Alvin Robertson, who will start in the NBA All-Star game a week from Sunday in Dallas, but it's Mike Mitchell who leads the way with 26. The final San Antonio 112, Cleveland 99. Two other games complete in the NBA. New Jersey loses to Seattle. Boston beats Chicago. Larry Bird gets 26. Four other games are still in progress. In college hoops, Virginia hasn't been much since Ralph Sampson left, but tonight they knock off #1 North Carolina. The Cavaliers' Olden Pollin is helping his team build an early lead. Then he's there again down the stretch, where the Tar Heels make a run but fall way short. The final, Virginia 86, North Carolina 73. Tar Heels falling to 21-1. Sidekicks home tonight for Minnesota in the game which has more goals than a good city council meeting. This is Billy Caskey who ties the game 3-3, but it's the goal by Louis Nanchoff when it's tied 4-4, which puts the team ahead for good. And on the day, Tattoo gets selected to the All-Star team. Dallas scores their most goals ever. Final 11-8. The Kicks in Pittsburgh tomorrow. Dallas Times-Herald Invitational Track meets on Saturday at Reunion Arena. Some of the best athletes in the world on some of the most hectic schedules in the world, competing around the globe, giving our kids something to look up to.
And we don't have time to have, to be flamboyant or arrogant or setting bad examples for the young kids that are coming up. They want to see heroes. They want to see responsible adults and responsible athletes with even tempers and setting good examples. They want to see that, and I really think it's my responsibility to do that.
Tony Campbell has just recovered from a knee injury, which almost ruined his career, but he's back and will go against 10 of the top hurdlers in the world in an event measured in hundreds of seconds.
I don't know if you can conceivably think of a hundredth of a second, but in a race so intense as mine, that's actually maybe about 2 inches about like that, and that's a big difference. If I got beat by a hundredth of a second, I would know exactly how far a person beat me by, and I'd be a little upset by it. But it's going to be tough, and I'm not going to just sit there and be idle and say, well, I'm going to try to win. I'm going all out. I'm not here to lose,
No, he's not. In Euless on Saturday, a number of Major League ball players, including Toby Harrah, Pete O'Brien, and Al Oliver, will be competing with the general public to benefit the boys and girls clubs of Tarrant County. Mark Lewis tells us it should be a lot of fun.
Texas Ranger Toby Harrah was warming up for spring training this afternoon, but he was also sharpening his batting skills for Saturday's competition. For all of you kids who have fantasized about being Major League ball players, now's your chance to compete head-to-head with them. And Toby Harrah acknowledges he may be in for a battle.
I've been in this contest one time before, and there's some good-looking young hitters here, and I really have to bear down because I don't want them to beat me, and they do, and I have to be on my best or they will.
Now, adults will be able to challenge the pros as well. Ken swings for the major leaguer, and then he leaves the batting cage with the points that he's accumulated. And then the frustrated adult athlete, who at one time probably had major league aspirations himself, gets his shot at glory.
I think I lost, but we had a lot of fun.
Fun that you, too, can take part in this Saturday from 9 to 3 at the Grand Slam batting cages in Euless. Mark Lewis, Channel 4 Sports.
Just $2 if you want to hit against some of the big boys. 50 cents if you want to go against Mark. Charity needs the money. No, just kidding.
It's an invitation? All right, thanks, Paul. At the airport in Libya, the number of Americans boarding flights has tripled. The 1,500 Americans in Libya must be out of the country by week's end to comply with President Reagan's order, or they face criminal prosecution. And a blazing Libyan tanker is a spectacular sight off the coast of Britain tonight. A cargo of chemicals on board caught fire and exploded 2 days ago. The ship was towed out of port and into shallow waters, where it continues to burn.
And just ahead on the 10 o'clock report, a Houston couple is blessed with an unexpected bundle.
We'll be right back.
The laughter of children, the warmth of holidays, the serenity of still autumn mornings, a place to rest and dream and grow, to be secure. The people of Ryland understand what makes a house a home That understanding strengthens our commitment to build homes of quality, value, and integrity. Live interest-free for 6 months. Our weekend newspaper ad will show you how to live the free and easy life of Ryland. Ryland homes are built for life.
$500 guarantee. Bankston Ford AMC Jeep Renault, corner of Inwood and Lemon, will give you a $500 guarantee. We'll beat any new 86 Ford AMC Jeep Renault car or truck deal in Texas. And we're committed to service after the sale. You can buy this 86 Crown Victoria for just $12,499, or this F-150 Ford truck for only $79.90. A $500 guarantee will beat any Ford AMC Jeep Renault car or truck deal in Texas. Bankston Ford AMC Jeep Renault, corner of Inwood and Lemon in Dallas, where we're committed to service after the sale.
If you want to save 1/2 and more on a beautiful fur, you'd better hurry, because Coslow's January fur sale ends Saturday.
More seductive than sex. More precious than gold. More addictive than any drug. Power. Nothing else comes close. Rated R. Starts tomorrow. Check newspapers for bids.
It came as a total shock to a 110-pound Houston woman when doctors told her she was 9 months pregnant and in labor. Sherry Tamina was admitted to the hospital last night complaining of indigestion. 20 hours later, to the shock and surprise of her husband and relatives, she delivered a healthy 7-pound, 9-ounce baby girl. The surprise infant has been named Krista, after Krista McAuliffe, who died in the Shuttle explosion on Tuesday.
What a surprise. Any surprises in tomorrow's weather, James?
Not on that magnitude. No, we'll check the breakfast forecast for Friday morning. Looks good. Mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures should be around 54 degrees. Those clouds will likely burn off by mid-morning, giving us sunshine and 70s by afternoon.
Sounds good. Thank you, James. And that's it for the 10 o'clock report. Thank you for being with us.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.
Channel 4 News was recorded earlier this evening.